me. I know, you gotta lay down with me. All right. Hello everybody, good morning. I decided I'm gonna let Lenny choose what I read this weekend because I have 3 new releases that I'm really excited to get to, and I've read the first few pages of all of them. So far, they're just all equally compelling. I am super intrigued. I want to know more, and I can't decide like which direction I want to take the weekend reading into. 2 options are thriller books, one is a horror book. I think they're all new releases. Lenny. So I thought, let me just throw them all down on the floor and let Lenny pick. I've done this one other time, but I'm hesitant to even link that video because it's from like nearly 2 years ago. Oh, cringe. But I have done this before where I let Lenny pick my weekend read, and we had fun filming that. So let's go ahead and do this morning's. Maybe I'll get to 2 books this weekend because I have 0 plans. Let's hit the options really quickly. First, we have Hairpin Bridge by Taylor Adams. Now, I do have a free I have a free copy of this that I got from NetGalley a few days ago, but I started reading it on my Kindle, and like, I had such a good reading experience with No Exit by this author, and I remember having that in hardback and just like flying through the pages, and something about me wanted to like recreate that experience, and that's kind of a dangerous thing to say because I don't think this is going to be able to live up to whatever type of high expectations I put on it. So I don't know, I'm nervous about Hairpin Bridge. I also got Local Woman Missing by Mary Kubica. I've never read anything from this author, but I see her around all the time. I haven't heard anything but just really glowing reviews for this book so far. I feel like it's got nearly 10,000 ratings so far on Goodreads, and it's got way up over a 4-star average rating. That's huge. Those were the 2 thriller books. The horror book that I have, at least I think it's horror. It's hilarious to me that I got that so wrong because it says a thriller right on the cover there. In my defense though, I did buy this at the horror section in Barnes & Noble, so that is where I got that idea. Let us continue. I have Bathhouse, which this was kind of a cover buy, but I also just saw Sarah from Sarah's Shelves talking about this. I feel like Riley Sager also just did like a little promo for this on his Instagram, which I know they probably get paid to do that, but it's how it hit my radar. So while we're being honest, I kind of hope Lenny chooses one of these 2 because my expectations are low going into both of these. I don't really know what either of them are about, and I'm not going to be disappointed if I don't enjoy them. Hairpin Bridge is just a wild card because I do really want to read this book as soon as I can, but I have some concerns. Let me go ahead and lay them out. So Lenny's already had his treat this morning. I think you had your treat. So instead of putting treats on each of the books for him to kind of choose like that, I'm gonna put 3 identical socks, 1 on each book, and he loves a sock. These are all clean socks, so like, you know, he doesn't love a clean sock as much as he loves a dirty sock. Oh, he's already jumping. Get up, get down. But yeah, I'll have to set the camera up first because as soon as one of these socks hits the ground, he's gonna run for it. Lenny, stop. Okay, this is the setup we're working with. I had to come down my stairs and put a sock on each book. So we have Bathhouse on the left, Local Woman Missing on the right, and Hairpin Bridge. Nope, just kidding. That's in the middle, that's on the right. You know what I mean. All right, Lenny, are you ready? All right, go. 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 You're kidding me. Oh, he hasn't gotten one yet. Lenny, get a sock. He's like, this is a trick. It's a trap. Lenny, get one of the socks. Not that sock. Go. Go. Where's... You want a sock? All right, Lenny, please get one. All right, that settles it. That was a plot twist, Lenny. I really thought you were gonna get Hairpin Bridge. All right, give me my sock back. Vicious. Wow, wow, wow. Lenny. He's asleep. Lenny deserves a medal for his book choices when we do these. Last time that Lenny picked a book for me to read, it was Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng, and that was my favorite book for that year. And I'm not like making wild predictions like that with Bathhouse right now, but I love it. I have not felt this compelled by a thriller since I read No Exit, just from the first 20 pages. I just read the first 3 chapters, and so far we're following this couple. Their names are Oliver and Nathan. And in chapter 1, we find out that Nathan is out of town and Oliver is going to this thing called House, and it's like this club where men can go and meet up and like hook up with each other, and it's all anonymous, and it's scandalous, Lenny, to say the least. So he's super hesitant to go in, and he's like, oh my gosh, if I do this, like I will actually be cheating on Nathan. So we're seeing Oliver go through this internal struggle of, oh my gosh, I feel so bad for myself and blah blah blah. And I don't know if we're supposed to feel sorry for him, but I have no sympathy for cheaters. So I don't know, as the book progresses, if like he's gonna have some redeemable qualities that just make him morally gray. I don't know if like, actually I really do love it when an author can really make me hate a character and then turn me around completely and make me pull for them. I don't know if that's going to be the case here. I have gotten to meet Nathan as well. The second chapter was told from Nathan's perspective, and it was really sad. He's like, I think he's going to have a drinking problem perhaps, and he's like basically met up with his mom at this hotel to talk all about how he thinks that his marriage with Oliver is over and how their relationship, there's just like some things that have happened that they just can't recover from. And it's sad because he's talking about all of this with his mom, and in the meantime we know that Oliver is at that club. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot to tell you the most crazy part of the book though. At the end of chapter 1, we see Oliver about to get with this guy, and all of a sudden the man starts strangling him, and Oliver like can't get away, and then he thinks like, oh my gosh, I'm dying. So then we go into Nathan's chapter, and I'm not going to give you a play-by-play of each chapter or anything because I don't want to spoil anything, but I did want to set it up for you so you know what I mean when I say like this is very fast-paced so far. My heart really was pounding reading these first 3 chapters. I'm only 20 pages in, but I already have a very wild prediction for what I think a plot twist is going to be. I can't wait to update you guys as I continue reading. Last thing I'm gonna say though, while I have you here, look at this beautiful pink, oh my gosh. Beautiful pink, my gosh. That was so embarrassing. I'm glad I know that you didn't see that, but I was using a pair of fingernail clippers as my bookmark, but I do remember that I'm on page 20. Okay, let me get back to reading, and I'll update you maybe when I hit like the 100 page mark next. Alright, I'm on page 101 now, and I am so sorry for hyping it up like so hard right at the beginning. I think that the high praise was a little premature on my end. I still am really enjoying this book, but pages like 30 through 100, I'll take that back. Pages 30 through 90 were not as, they didn't grab me like that first chapter did, and I don't know. I don't want to say I'm disappointed. It's just not going in the direction I thought it was going to go to. I want this to be much creepier than it is. I feel like the author thinks that it's very creepy, and it hasn't been until the past 10 pages. We actually did just get to a, I don't want to call it a twist, but it was like a shocking moment where things have taken a darker turn as if they weren't already super dark. So I'm kind of into that now, but I said I would stop and update you when I got to page 100, so that is where we are right now. I'm about to, it's like 5:30, 6 o'clock, I don't even know what time it is, but I need to take a shower, and I then need to make some spaghetti for dinner because I'm gonna do that. I feel like I've been reading all day. I did take a little nap earlier because it's just raining, there's nothing to do. I took Lenny outside, but that lasted about 30 seconds. He didn't want to be out there either. Don't hate me, but I actually have another update. You guys might be getting a second book in this vlog earlier than you expected. I have a ton of laundry to do, okay? And when I'm doing a bunch of laundry, and I also need to like clean my entire bathroom, like I'm gonna take a shower and then like I want to clean my whole bathroom since it's Saturday night, and those are my plans. I actually want to download the audiobook for Hairpin Bridge because Scribd has it. I was just checking earlier because I was like, oh my gosh, what if they have, what's this called? Bathhouse on Scribd and I could listen to it, but they didn't. So I've just been reading it. And then I was like, what if they have Local Woman Missing on audiobook? They do not. But they do have Hairpin Bridge. So now I'm gonna have the ebook, the physical book, and the audiobook. I don't know, if I don't like the audiobook, I'm gonna turn it off. But yeah, those are the plans for the evening. I am hoping to make it to page 150 of this before I go to sleep tonight. That'll put me about halfway through the book. And then I don't have any plans for like Hairpin Bridge because it's a pretty short book, so I honestly could probably listen to the entire audiobook tonight, or definitely between tonight and tomorrow morning. So yeah, that's an update for you guys. I'm gonna start listening to that pretty soon. Leonard, do you have anything you want to add? Lenny, you want to tell him hey? I weighed him this morning and he weighs 34 pounds. Too many treats. Here's the thing, Hairpin Bridge is blowing my expectations out of the water, and I do feel comfortable and confident saying that right now because I just hit the halfway point of the book. I'm at like 51 or 52%. I have been listening to this audiobook. I've been reading along a little bit, but actually this audio narration is phenomenal. Like, I'm so impressed with it. We have two different female narrators narrating this. Let me backtrack, okay? Hairpin Bridge is about this woman. She's like 24 years old and she's grieving the loss of her twin sister who has recently apparently died by suicide by jumping off of this bridge. So the sister just completely is not buying it, the twin who is still alive. So she goes to the location, this Hairpin Bridge, and she meets this officer who was like heavily involved in the case. He actually had pulled the sister over just hours before her death. So it starts out with Lena being like, oh yeah, I totally just want to meet with you. And by the way, do you mind if I record you? I think it's gonna help me process my grief and stuff like that. Then while we're still at the beginning of the book, we realize we're gonna actually get, I don't want to say multiple perspectives because the first perspective is Lena and it's like Lena going to meet with this sketchy officer. But then something changes and we're reading this account that is telling Cambry's story. Cambry is the dead twin. But it is Lena telling, how do I explain this? Lena has this blog and she's like telling her blog about this book that she's going to write about what happened to Cambry, but as far as I can tell, it's written as if it is from Cambry's perspective. And I reread this little second chapter, at least the first 2 pages of it, like 4 different times because I could not for the life of me figure out if this is all from Lena's perspective and she's like, I don't want to call her an unreliable narrator. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know how Lena would know what happened that night because that's what she's gone and is like trying to track down. And supposedly she like wrote this blog post before she even went to meet with the officer. It's messing with my mind, but I love to feel overwhelmed like that when I'm reading and have like all these different pieces to try to put together. It's even fine with me if something doesn't make sense because my brain is like looking for that stimulation for me to like try to figure it out. So needless to say, I don't want to put it down, but at the same time, the last thing I want to do is just sit here and blast through the entire thing tonight. I know earlier I said that was a pretty likely chance that I might do that, but what I think I'm going to do is pump the brakes. I'm actually going to go take that shower I was trying to get around 2 hours ago. And then when I get out, I'm going to see where my head is. I'm either going to continue listening to Hairpin Bridge or you can't see Lenny, but he's being very sweet right now. Yeah, I'm either gonna continue listening to Hairpin Bridge or I'm gonna pick Bathhouse back up. Yeah, much to think about. Actually, one more thing about Hairpin Bridge, or a few more things. I forgot that I was gonna like do a little mini halfway review. The way that the story is told reminds me a lot of No Exit, just in that we've got pretty much a good versus evil thing going on. And yes, there are gonna be twists, there is a mystery, but for the most part, it is just action-packed. This has that, and I'm not gonna compare it to No Exit because it's not the same, but I think that if you like No Exit, I think you will like this book, as long as your expectations aren't through the roof. Like if you just go into it looking for a fun, fast-paced thriller, I think you should be pleased. I am overlooking a few cliches. There are some like weird, cringy things that Taylor Adams, he obviously is an older man. I mean, not old, but he's not a 24-year-old woman trying to avenge her twin sister's death. So like the way he is writing her, she's like saying these things that I just don't think that I would ever say. And I don't remember him writing Darby from No Exit like that. So I don't know, it's a definite choice. An example would be like him putting "for the win" at something. I don't remember exactly what he put it behind, but just, it was something like, yeah, target practice for the win. And it's like they're in this intense situation. I'm just like, that was awkward. I don't know. I kind of got secondhand embarrassment for her. Then I have this small issue that I don't even know how to process it or how to talk about it, but I do want to mention it because I never know how to feel when this happens. It's when there's a character in a book who is not supposed to be likable. It's really easy for authors to make that character unlikable by making them fat phobic. And I don't want to say using slurs, because I haven't come across like any slurs in this book, but just using language to talk about people that would be offensive language, stuff like that. I can't tell you exactly what I'm talking about because it kind of would spoil just a minor plot twist, but there's somebody in this book who repeatedly calls someone else crazy, but like takes it to an extreme of like, oh yeah, this person was blah 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 blah. But and again, it's not like slurs, but it's just offensive language. So just trigger warnings for that. Oh, and trigger warnings for fat phobia in this book. There's a lot of it, but it's not, again, it's not Taylor Adams. It's this character that we're not supposed to like. I always want to open up that discussion. I feel like I've mentioned it before that like I don't know how to feel about that when an author characterizes a bad person like that. But yeah, it is interesting. It's worth noting, okay? I am really enjoying this book so far. Unless something completely blows up in my face, it should be a 4-star. It's not going to be 5 stars. Like, I know it's not going to be 5 stars, but I am thoroughly enjoying it. So that is the update. I'm going to go take my shower, and it is still pouring down rain here. The sun actually just went down though, so hopefully my mood will improve. When it's really overcast outside and I can just see all of the dreary weather, sometimes I'll feel sad, but I actually thought that this weather was really fun for listening to this audiobook. Okay, I'm done talking. We just finished the audiobook and one of us is crying right now. Oh my gosh, do you see the tear? I mean, what did you have to say? I mean, Lenny honestly listened to most of it with me as well. Did you like it? My camera battery is charging right now, so once that's charged up, I'll sit down with more coherent thoughts, but I just finished this book like 10 seconds ago, and I feel like it is a solid 4-star. I feel like I actually would be giving this book 4.5 or 5 stars if the way that it was told wasn't so confusing to me. It was really fun at first, and I thought it was something I was going to be able to put together, but actually now looking back on it in retrospect, I feel like it was a little bit jumbled. Like, it was a little unnecessary maybe. It didn't really serve the story for me, like how it was told with the, let's have Lena's perspective in the present day, but then also she's telling Cambry's story that may or may not be how the account actually happened. Like, we just don't know as readers if that's really what happened or not. And then the way it came together at the end, I guess it was cool, but it seemed like a lot of work for a low payoff. But it was so action-packed, I couldn't stop reading it. I'm all for a creative angle, but I might have taken this one too far. Earlier I was thinking, why don't you ever film in your room? Like, I've got a window right next to my bed and I could put the camera. Lanny, do you hear him barking? He's being bad. Come here, Lenny. Quickly, this is so awkward. Okay, quickly want to run down final thoughts on Hairpin Bridge. I feel like I was being harsh earlier. I just wanted to get the negatives out of the way because I don't want anyone to be like, oh, she overhyped that. Because yeah, it's not a 5-star book. It's not my favorite thriller ever, but I was so pleasantly surprised by it. Like, this is probably my biggest surprise of 2021, which is weird to say because it was one of my highest anticipated, not just thrillers, but like books of the year. I've been so excited for this book. We really did just have pure action from start to finish because we have the 2 different storylines going on. We have both of these sisters battling evil pretty much, and so even when the timeline switches, it's going from action to a different action. And actually the action going on in each story kind of reflects what's going on in the other. So it's not too difficult to keep track of what's going on because both sisters are trying to outrun danger. I do have one other small nit I want to pick with the book though, and there were just a ton of these, oh, that was convenient type moments. Like those little, this was too good to be true. Like I said, I wasn't going to compare the 2 books and here I am, but let's just go ahead and get it out of the way. There were a few things that happened in No Exit where moments where I was like, that was convenient. This book had a lot more of that, but there is something going on in the story that you find out by the end that I think makes everything make sense. I don't know. So final takeaways are just that if you have been like nervous to start it or you're like worried you're not gonna like it as much as No Exit, try to go in with a level mind. Just like lower your expectations because that's what I did and I just had so much fun. Now let's briefly talk about what's going on in Bathhouse. I made it to page 170-ish, like 175 maybe last night before I went to sleep, and it's not what I thought it was. I love when paranoia is done really well in a book, but I feel like there are so many ways that paranoia can be a little too understated to the point where you feel like the stakes are low. One thing I didn't mention about this book yesterday is that after Oliver is attacked, he has this strangulation type handprint bruise on his neck, and he has to lie to his partner Nathan and tell him that he was mugged. So he starts this little strand of lies, like this, what do you call it? Like a little web of lies. That was strand or web number 1. Okay. And then he has to like continue lying to like continue to cover up lie number 1, and then lie begets lie begets lie, and he's getting tangled up in a little mess now. I typically really love that trope, but I don't know. I'm not feeling the tension that I want to be feeling right now. We even have a detective that she doesn't have a POV, but I love books with detectives in them. I really love a detective POV, but I'll take what I can get from her in this book. But now she's like acting sketch. I'm not gonna give anything away. I can't say that enough. This lighting on my face is really throwing me off. Oh, I'm kind of sad because this lighting is real cute, but this angle is not. I'm gonna continue though. Goodness. Oh, I've been sneezing. So one thing that I am just so unsure of about this book, let me hold this with 2 hands so I don't shake you up too much, is that I absolutely cannot stand Oliver. I can't stand Oliver. And when a character gets into these situations where they're having to like get their way out of lies or like try to put themselves in a better situation, I have so much more fun with the reading experience or watching experience. I like watching movies with this plot device too. I want to root for them, and Oliver doesn't have anything redeemable going for him. Like, I can't stand him. I really can't stand anybody in this book, but I might get to that later. There might be some characters that have a little turnaround. I'm almost 2/3 of the way through, so I'm hoping I can just sit right here and knock out the last little bit and then update you with my final thoughts. All right, you ready? It is so funny to me to film these vlogs where I'm like, I don't know, this book kind of sucks, and then 2 hours later, I finished the book and I'm like, actually no, everyone needs to go read this, it's so good. I just finished Bathhouse and I'm not gonna tell you anything else about it. I've not already told you too much, but like, I'm actually gonna cut a lot of what I said out of my last clip. So what you saw, there were some redacted sentences that ended up kind of being spoilers that I didn't know were gonna be spoilers. One thing I wanna say about it though is that I'm really glad that this gay thriller seems like it's gonna be so mainstream. This is not the Lenny show. We're gonna have to film it like this. Thank you. Did I end up hating everybody? I kind of did. I also could see that coming from a mile away though. This felt like a really fresh book. And Lenny, you're gonna have to tone it down. There were some scenes in this book that reminded me of the movie Party Monster, and I think that the documentary about the true crime case might also be called Party Monster. I'm not sure, but that's one of my favorite true crime cases, and there were just a lot of scenes in this book that reminded me of some over-the-top type scenes that happened in that movie. What do you think about that? I can't get over his nose just in the shot right now. I think I'm gonna give this one a 4-star. I had 2 4-star reads this weekend. That's really good. Okay, let's see. I want to look a little bit cuter for this outro, Lenny. Lenny, you did a good job. You are a good dog. You did a good job. Thank you guys for watching this video. Lenny really had fun being in front of the camera. Sometimes he wants to be out and about when I get the camera out because he hears that beep and he knows I'm gonna start talking. And but then other times I get it out and he shies away. So I don't know, maybe he's getting more comfortable in front of the camera. The way he just ripped my headband out of my hair. Lenny, you stop. Give it back. I think the main takeaway from this vlog, if you don't take away anything else, is to add these 2 books to your radar if they weren't already on your radar. I'm not telling you to go out and buy them by any means. They're not new all-time favorites, but I had a really fun weekend binge reading books. Usually my attention cuts out before I can finish 1 book, let alone 2. So I don't know how much that has to say about me and how much that has to say about the books, but these were really good reading selections. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. If you've made it this far in the video, welcome to a little bonus clip. I don't know, Lenny, please stop. I'm trying to be for real for a second. I love this dog so much. Like, it's probably unhealthy how much I love him. He has been with me through so much, and I've been getting really emotional making this vlog this weekend because he's just my best friend and he always makes me laugh and he's always just like, he's always there with me. Lenny, stop. The reason I have a towel right now is because we just got back from our walk and it's still raining. I'm trying to dry him off. But he's just really a good dog, and I love him. I love him so much. So I hope you enjoyed this video. See you later.